It's kind of weird. I was expecting that I would get raided by my main channel, but I suppose I didn't set it properly. So that's why I was late. I was expecting the raid. But we're going to talk about more happy things rather than the technical difficulties that I'm having. Allegedly, as you guys know, my Discord server is not operational right now. And this is due to the fact that Discord told me that there is hate speech on my server. And I have probably a compendium of logs on that server. I would not be able to guess what, first of all, like what they understand by hate speech, and secondly, where is it? And it's not just a me problem of understanding what do they mean by hate speech. I remember when Zuckerberg was at one of the hearings in Congress, and they asked him the same fucking question. It's like, what is hate speech? He couldn't answer. Yeah, if Zuckerberg can't answer what hate speech is, who can? And by the way, this is kind of funny because whenever you talk to a progressive and you criticize woke ideology, for example, they will say, what is woke? What do you understand by woke? How do you define woke? And I'm willing to bet I can define woke, but they can't define what hate speech is. So freaking annoying. Like this concept. Man, like, I gotta say, the communists were a lot more reasonable, because I lived under them. Not a lot. I managed to catch a couple of years, but even after the communist regime fell in my country, we still benefited from their wisdom for a while. You know, the school manuals didn't change. I mean, the same communist manuals that my parents studied on. I studied as well. The mentality of the teacher and everyone else was still communistic. So where am I going with this? Well, at least like when they were, because they had like their own version of political correctness, right? Like they had stuff that you weren't supposed to say. But it was like clear cut, like you knew exactly, all right, well, you're not allowed to make fun of the dear leader, right? Like no jokes at his expense. Like it was clear, you know, like obvious, but like with political correctness, holy shit, like it's always changing, right? And sometimes it goes for jokes, like inciting hatred. Like, okay, but like if I joke, I'm not inciting hatred, I'm inciting laughter. Like all that type of stuff. Thank you for the $5, Rixian. These platforms need to be compelled by law to not censor at all or be treated as publishers. Yeah, that's not going to happen because like no one in Congress in the United States really wants the censorship to go away. I mean, I think even right-wingers, they would love if they could control the platforms. I mean, imagine if the platforms would ban stuff that's left-leaning, right? It is what it is. It's upsetting, though, because I had a lot of sad messages today from people that were on my Discord that were upset that the server is down. And I'll see how I can get it back up. As I mentioned before, it's a little bit difficult because I need to get moderators again. And I'll see what I can do. Right now, the moderator that I wanted to talk to wasn't online today, so maybe tomorrow, and we can work something out. This is why political correctness was mocked mercilessly in the 90s. Yeah, but like in the 90s, they couldn't get you fired for playing a fucking video game, which is one of the topics of today. It's so bizarre. Man, like, they rationalize themselves that playing Hogwarts means killing people. I mean, when you have an ideology that's so fucking far-fetched, like, you're playing a video game and you're killing people, so you're telling me that if the Ukrainians were to play Hogwarts, all the transgender people in the Russian army would perish? Like, is that what you're trying to say? Jesus Christ. But anyway, so they convince themselves of that. They convince themselves that harassing VTubers is a moral good. Man, like, I don't know. Like, I'm so glad I don't have allies like that on my side, because with allies like that, who needs enemies? Will you do a one-chip challenge for views? I do not know what the one-chip challenge is, and honest to God, Senor Sticks, I'm afraid to look it up. 4chan found those people who harass Pikame. Yeah, that's one thing, right? Because like you go on 4chan right now, and you will find someone that goes like, oh, it's so sad what happened to Pikame, but I'm really worried about the LGBT community. Like, first of all, when you say something like this, you're going to upset people. Okay? Like, but it's kind of the same, like, it's literally the same talking point. Literally the same talking point that was used in Europe during the terrorist attacks. Like, if you guys remember 2018, 2016, right? Like, there were a lot of terrorist attacks in European Union. And every single time, like, you saw the attack, and the media was like, oh, it's a tragedy what happened, but I'm really afraid of what's going to happen to the innocent Muslims that had nothing to do with it. And after every single attack, nothing happened to the innocent Muslims, because people understand it's like, okay, well, there's a difference between like someone who actually caused evil and another person that just minds his own business. Like, right? It never escalated. And it's the same thing here. I never seen a person that's a member of the LGBT on Twitter to be harassed because of Pikame. Like, that just doesn't happen. If you have any evidence, please show it to me. I'm willing to look at it. But I haven't seen like a random person that just happens to be a progressive LGBT, pronouns in the bio, like have random people go at him because Pikame is graduating. It just doesn't happen. However, I have seen 4chan compiling lists of people that have harassed Pikame in public. Okay, mocking her, ridiculing her, attacking her. That does exist. So, unlike the left, when they go after, gamers, they don't care, like, what type of gamer they're going after. Like, is it a gamer that's genuinely a sexist or not, right? Like, they don't give a shit. They go after stereotyping. But when 4chan went after people, laser focused. Like, just, the people who gave harassment are the ones that had their harassment archived and had their harassment monitored, and, right? I haven't seen, like, if you've seen any innocent person getting targeted, I will speak out about it. That is another problem. We need to make our politicians fear us again so that they do what we want. No. It's not about fear. Milton Friedman explained exactly how politics works. Politics is very similar to a business. People go into politics in order to make money. You need to make it profitable for politicians to do the good thing. That's literally it. Like, right now, it's profitable to be left-leaning. It's profitable to play into the ESG. It's profitable to advocate for all of these leftist causes. So that's why they're doing it. If you were to make it profitable to advocate for right-wing causes, it's the same with companies, right? Like, why do you think companies are woke? Do they legitimately care about social justice? Of course not. They just want to make money. Do not do the chip challenge pain. I will look at what the chip challenge is. Is it? It's like eating a spicy chip. I might do it because I have a high tolerance to spiciness. I even ate a ghost chili pepper once. No, sorry, not a ghost chili pepper. A Carolina Reaper. The problem with the Carolina Reaper, and I'll tell you why I wouldn't eat one again. I handle the spiciness just fine. Right? So, like, the part where your mouth is on fire, like, I had no issue with that. But once you swallow it, and it's in your stomach, you get to feel it like a hot brick. Like, you get to feel a burning sensation. That's not spice. It's just pain. And I didn't enjoy that. Like, the fact that my mouth was on fire, and as I swallowed, like, my neck was burning, I love that. But the fact that, like, afterwards, like, after you finish eating it, usually, like, 10 minutes after, you feel, like, this burning sensation that's just, like, pain. That's not something that I enjoyed. Apparently, 4chan has found out the personal info of all the people who harassed Pikame. Yeah, I mean, some of them were dog fuckers, like, legit. Like, because, like, what did 4chan do? They went into their past. They did offense necromancy. They did the offense archaeology. Went into the past, found out that some people were into bestiality, some people were into other nasty shit. Right? But basically, like, okay, if you're going to moralize to the internet about how to behave, you need to make sure that you behave in an appropriate manner as well. And they didn't appreciate the fact that people went through their past. They have absolutely no problem into going into other people's past, because I have seen them do it. Like, the same names. I'm not doing any of this, by the way. I'm just monitoring and I'm archiving what's happening for historical purposes. But It was interesting. Like the thing with Pikame, and I'll tell you why I was really interested in VTubing and why I do think that VTubing. I'm not going to say it's going to change the culture, but it is like an interesting battle that's being fought right now over VTubing. So I became interested in this hobby or well this activity last year, right? And I started shilling for Pippa. I promoted the VTubers that I like. And the reason I did so is because I noticed that VTubing brings people together. And it's wholesome. So you have people that were far left. And you had people that were far right. You had the communists and the Nazis. Creating the new Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact on the internet. They would put aside their differences. They would be like, okay, you know what? I don't care, I just want to watch anime lady play video games. And it was wholesome, right? And I realized, like, okay, well, there is something here. Because every other community was divided. Every other community was promoting inclusivity. And by inclusivity, what they mean is exclusivity, right? Like, take into account Warhammer. Like, Arch likes to bring this argument a lot. And by the way, I'll be with Arch tomorrow. I'll be on his channel. Warhammer never excluded people. Like, anyone that had money to buy the plastic could play Warhammer. Since the beginning of the game. It didn't matter if you're a Christian, if you're an atheist. Like, they would not exclude you. It's only when they started being inclusive and they were like, Warhammer is for everybody, but that's when they started excluding people. And almost every single hobby is like that. You know, like, we're inclusive. It's for everybody, but VTubing wasn't like that. Like, VTubing would just not give a shit. And I remember, like, I was talking with a person that was on the far right, and when I started shilling for Lisa, they were concerned that I'm doing it, because they said, oh, V, I'm really worried about you joining our community. And I'm like, what? Why are you worried? Because I don't want you bringing your politics here. You know, I'm a right-winger myself, but, like, when we're here, we don't talk about politics. I mean, don't worry about it. I'm not interested in bringing my politics here. And that was, like, the thing, right? Because, like, you had, like, leftists, you had right-wingers in this community. So now that they fuck with Pikame, they managed to fuck with both sides of the political aisle, right? Because the small amount of people, the terminally on Twitter people, they managed to piss off both the left and the right. And this is why it's a big thing. This is why it's exploding in their face right now. Because they, like, usually, when you have, like, a cultural conflict, is the left versus the right. And the right doesn't really have relationships with the Trust and Safety Council. They don't really have relationships with moderators. And this is why they usually lose on the internet. But left-wingers, they do have all the connections. So now, you have, like, the left and the right, which is pretty much why Gamergate was so scary for them. Is because it was bipartisan. You had people on both sides, and versus the corporations, and they don't like that. Could we have V replace the kettle, as he is already squeaky enough for the job? Oh my god, I would never compare myself with someone as talented as Pikame, but I think she will be back, right? Like, the light at the end of the tunnel is that almost all of the big VTubers that are corporate, when they graduate, like, especially if they have a big following like she does, they make another channel and they do very well independently. But I am willing to bet that she's going to join, like, some ridiculous group, like Vshoujo or something. Probably not Vshoujo. But she may join something, right? I don't understand why VTubers just don't like being independent. It's bizarre. It's bewildering. Like, why do you want to give your super chats away? I just don't fucking understand it. Like, why do you not want to keep the money that you're making and you want to give it to another company that gets to decide the content that you're making, that gets to decide your uploading schedule? It's just bizarre. You know, I seen it with a lot of people. I need to watch Chika Fujilisa because, you know, she doesn't have a corporation. But if she joins Face Connect, I will laugh my ass off. I just do not understand why they keep doing it. There's a case on meme calling Pikame for that. Yeah. So, like, I want to point out that there is this misconception that Pikame did not leave because of getting bullied for Hogwarts. That is absolutely false. Due to the fact that, first of all, if I was involved in something and people were making a controversy, right? Let's let's say I would announce that I'm quitting YouTube, right? And I'm saying, okay, I'm quitting YouTube next year. And a lot of people would say, oh my God, V is quitting because he's getting harassed, right? Now, if I'm not harassed, why wouldn't I just step up and say, hold on about it? Like, you're blowing this out of proportion. This is not true. I'm not quitting because of harassment. It's got nothing to do with it. Right? Like, does that make sense? And secondly, Kason, she spoke with Pikame. And she made a video afterwards saying that, oh yes, like all these weirdos on Twitter. Like, we played the video yesterday. You guys know what I'm talking about. So no, it's literally because of Hogwarts. Now, I don't know if it's because the company decided to fire her. Because you gotta understand, the way idol companies work in Japan is that they're trying to create the image of perfect people. That's what idol is in Japan. They want to create this image where the talent is having this perfect life. You know, like Gargura, for example. Like Gargura has the image of being like the perfect girl. She's having the perfect life. She's always happy. Doesn't talk about politics. She's always cheerful, right? Like, because that's the idol industry. That's what Hololive is trying to create. Now, when you have drama or when you have political opinions and you stop being say-so, that's when the magic disappears. And companies don't really like that. So when you have like a couple of crazies that are attacking the talent over, you know, video games, and they're saying, oh, well, she's killing the community and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's when you have people stepping in. You have management stepping in, and they may graduate her. But again, we don't know whether or not it was her quitting or the graduation happened from the company. She was the biggest in the company. That doesn't matter. Coco was also the biggest in the company. Like, Coco was the one that was bringing in the most super chats. She had the most viewers. She had the most subscribers. Hololive kicked her like a broken tooth. The moment that she showed a video from her YouTube analytics, which indicated Taiwan as a separate country. Like, that's mad. That's insane, right? Like, it was such a small mistake. And yet, they managed to kick her. Now, we know what happened with Coco. She's Kasan. I think she's got like 1 or 2 million subscribers. Very popular, very famous. So, it's probably what's going to happen with the Kettle. Pikame joining Phase Invaders. Well, the thing with Pikame is that she is not buying her avatar. Doesn't surprise me because her avatar isn't really that good. But it would probably... So the way it works with these VTube companies, if you graduate, they usually allow you to buy the model, which includes the channel. Now, the more subscribers you have, and the more expensive the model, the more money they ask. So, for example, I believe for Rosa Coatl, they would ask $10,000, right? And Rosa Coatl, she had, I wouldn't say a good model compared to what else is on the market, but she had a decent rig. And her channel was barely monetized. Like, it got monetized a couple of weeks ago. So, take into account that's $10,000. Now, imagine how much it would be for someone like Pikame, which has a channel of 650,000 people. Her model probably not that expensive, but it would probably cost her a pretty penny. And the thing with Pikame is that I'm pretty sure she's confident she can get those 650,000 subscribers back, because as chat mentions, she is a legend in the VTuber world. So she will probably manage to, if she chooses to come back, she's going to manage to get all that together. But she is not taking the deal. Like, she's not taking her model because she already announced that every video that she made, including the ones for members, is going to get deleted. So make of that what you will. The name and model identity will transfer to a new one easily. No, they tried that. So there have been like certain companies, when the talent graduated, they tried giving it to another person. It doesn't work. The audience doesn't like that. So, for example, imagine Pipkin Pippa, right? And let's say Pipkin Pippa graduates. Heaven forbid. If Pipkin Pippa graduates, now imagine they put another girl to use the Bonnie avatar. Like, they would do a huge disservice to the other person. Because first of all, like, depending on why people graduated, like let's say management kicks her out. If that happens, then people will hate management, and the new talent that would use Pipa's avatar would get the hate as well. So the hate would bounce off. They should never do that, right? Like no VTube company does that because it was tried, and it doesn't work. I may be remembering wrong, but while Kei-son did join VShojo, she started the VShojo Japanese branch. Probably. I'm not really sure about that. From what I understand, like Kei-son joining VShojo is actually different because they don't control what she does on her channel. They don't have like executive control. What they do get is the ability to sell her merchandise. Like that may be the deal. By the way, like I was interested to see how much is hiring a VTuber from VShojo to do voice acting, right? Because I'm making my video game and I was curious. It's like, what if I get Project Melody, you know, because I do have a way to reach and ask for those questions. But apparently, VShojo wants control over what you can do, right? So first of all, they want the percentage of how much the game is like. At least, you know, I don't know with me, but I know that they asked for someone else who worked with them. So they ask a percentage of the sales, but more than that, they want executive control of the story. So, like, they want the story to be set in a specific way, and it's like, oh, fuck it, you know. Yeah, from what I noticed, they prevented all of the Hololive English girls from playing Hogwarts, but the Japanese branch played it. And interestingly and funny enough, the Japanese branch did not get any of the harassment. Any decent VTuber model is thousands for the full package. Okay, if you want a model like Shy Lily, I looked at how much it costs. It's $8,000, right? Usually, half is for the rigging and half is for the art. So they would want $4,000 for the art and $4,000 for the rigging, which is kind of standard. I do suspect that the prices are going to lower a little bit because VTubing is now super saturated and you're going to see fewer and fewer ladies that go into VTubing. Yeah, that's how much it costs. But take into account that it's also the name of the person. I think for Shy Lily it's called Two Tails, right? So like if Two Tails makes you a model, you get the brand awareness. Like people who follow Two Tails are going to see the model, they're going to check it out. And it's also yeah, like because you're kind of like associated with Shy Lily in a way, right? Like it's the same person that made Shy Lily, it's making your model. But $8,000 is a little bit high end. However, I have seen 10,000 and 12,000. Usually Japanese riggers are really great. Holy shit, thank you, Midwest Finest. Only been subscribed to your channel for a bit, but already one of my favorites. Aw, I didn't even make that great streams recently. Shouting from Indiana. By the way, thanks for warning me about California. Dude, I don't have to warn you about California. Like, if you're American, you should have known of its existence. Jesus. No, unironically, so I'm from Romania, right? Like many Americans, when they hear about Eastern Europe, they have this imagination of a desolate place. But I looked at California and holy crap, dude. Like I looked at some of the streets and I'm like, dude, we do not have that thing here. It looks like not even cyberpunk. Like I wouldn't even say Judge Dredd. It looks like there was a civilization there at some point and something happened. Like the apocalypse came, and now everything is desolated. Jesus. Lumi was more than 12K. I don't know. I mean, Lumi does have like a lot of cool features on her rig. I think like her eyes glow. Her face is really amazing. Yeah, like, but 12K, I wouldn't think so. More Hollywood representation. You are wrong about Sankoko. Cover never fired her. Pecora of HoloGP got a ton of backlash when she streamed Hogwarts. Wait, I do not understand. Kei-son graduated over the Taiwan issue. Like, that is known. I don't think I got it wrong. I think I'm pretty spot on. Pecora of Holo GP got a ton of backlash. I did not know that. Okay, so Pecora of Holo GP got backlash. I didn't know. But it's interesting that it's only the girls that are getting that, right? Like, does anyone know of a guy that got backlash for playing Hogwarts? I'm legit curious. Does it exist? Anyway, I did get it right. Yeah. You hear rigor and you're thinking of Scooby-Doo using slurs. Do you understand that I need to be very careful? The bot is always watching. She got suspended over the Taiwan issue and returned after Holo ended the CN branch. But still, like getting suspended over that. So stupid. California or Scat Francisco. Man, I coined the term Scat Francisco. Are worse than any Romanian neighborhood I have seen. Yes! Literally. No, unironically. Okay? Like, a lot of people say America is better than Romania, and I always tell them, like, depends what state. It really does. There are states in the US that are far worse than Romania. I would be afraid to go there. Like, I'm not afraid to walk alone at night in Romania. Like, the only bad thing that can happen, at least in my town, is dogs. Let me see if I can find, like, California ran down neighborhood. Yeah. So, for example, this is not even the worst thing I've seen. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Like, it looks like at one point there was civilization here. Like, at one point there was like a bustling, you know, metropolis with everyone being happy and eating ice cream and stuff. What the fuck is, like, why is there trash on the ground? We don't have that. I mean, we may have like a little bit of trash, but not to the point where it spills in the fucking streets. And it looks like there was a civilization, then something happened, and now it looks like this. And the sad part is, I don't even think this is the worst. Like, I think it can get even worse than what I'm showing. Look at it. Jesus. Look how much trash. Oh my god. Dude, that, like... I would not say this is the US. Like, if you showed me this picture and you asked me from where, I would say Turkey after the earthquake. I'm not making fun. I'm not trying to dramatize the pictures. It's literally what I'm thinking. Look at some before and after of Detroit. Let me look. That is Skid Row. Oh my god, people even know what that is. Alright, Detroit. I mean, this looks beautiful. It looks beautiful, chat. I like this. Oh my god, look at this. 74 fun things to do in Detroit. But I'm pretty sure you do not want me to see this, so let me look for. Oh my god. Okay, now I'm in the Detroit that I was thinking in my mind about. It's so weird to see these, right? Because they look like the type of house that anyone wants to live in, at least in Romania. I mean, this is beautiful. You get like a one-story house, right, in your own backyard and stuff, in a little nice community. But then you realize it's like, oh, they haven't been maintained. Like they're abandoned. I mean, these houses are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful. I assume that the neighborhood is not only filled with crime, but there's also like nothing to do, like nothing to shop, no entertainment, no malls. So this is why people aren't there, I guess. But what happened here? Like, from my understanding, there used to be a bustling industry of car manufacturing. And then it moved away, and this is why you have the death of a great American city. Why does anyone still live in Detroit? Yeah, this is, by the way, the broken window theory in effect, right? Like, the broken window theory is actually real. So the broken window theory dictates that if you have like, you can go in a neighborhood and you see places like this, right? And then you go in another neighborhood and all the houses are spotless. So how does that make sense? Like, are there people who enjoy breaking windows in one point and in another there aren't? And the answer is that the moment one window is broken, if it stays broken, then people automatically assume that the person does not care about that property. And there are no consequences for breaking windows. And because breaking windows is fun, people start doing it. So this is what happened here. Like, someone probably started breaking windows. And then when they realized that no one cares, they started spraying with graffiti. And I don't understand, you know, like, why would you do this? Like, how the fuck do you even get all the way up to spray it? Why even waste the graffiti? Like, there's no... Usually it's fun when there's an art or something, but it's just like sprayed graffiti for the sake of spraying it. Very dubious. Dubious. Holy shit, another 50. Jesus fucking Christ. Politically defined. Thank you for the donation. From your favorite Californian. California is just following in the steps of Detroit. That's all. Much like Portland or Seattle. I mean, I know what's happening in California. It's yeah, no, it's leftist politics. I mean, they released prisoners during COVID, right? Like, they released dangerous criminals on the street. They constantly raise taxes. They make it very difficult and expensive for people to live in there. They lock people in their own homes. I don't know if that's what they did in Detroit, but yeah, it's not okay. So, like, you take a functioning city and you run it to the ground. I mean, only recently I covered an article where California boycotted half of the United States because those countries had abortion laws that they didn't like, or because they had laws regarding elections that they didn't like. So, the way they boycotted is that they didn't allow public transport to go to those states. And apparently, like, those states just didn't care. Like, they didn't even notice that it's happening. But, like, the Californians were the ones suffering because it was much difficult to get workers that were commuting, right? Because, like, okay, I could, I guess, go to a neighboring state, work there, but then, like, I can't commute back. It affected people from California that had families in those states, and now they couldn't publicly travel. So, like, you could still travel there, but, like, you had to take, you know, to a public transport to a blue state, and from the blue state, you take it to the red state. But like, that's just fucking insanity, and apparently it hit their pockets hard, so now they're thinking about undoing the boycott. After the auto industry left, a lot of Detroit houses were bought by foreign speculators and left to rot. The rotting house poisons neighborhoods. Oh, I see. Now it makes sense. But I guess, like, those foreign investors got shafted too, because, like, no one is buying those houses. That's like, the idea of buying a house is to eventually sell it, not leave it to rot. This is a seaside state that somehow has water shortages. Oh, I actually can explain that. So, obviously salt water isn't drinkable. And secondly, it's very expensive to remove the salt from it. So that's why you have the water shortages. But, like, again, you shouldn't have water shortages. I mean, it's one of... It used to be, right? Like, one of the richest states in the US. Even if water filtration is expensive, you would think that they would be able to afford it. Actually, Detroit land prices are spiking. Yeah, but, like, what do you do with a rotten house? Anyway, it is what it is. Only reason I want to visit America is so I can earn myself rich petty store theft. Since they can't arrest me for those crimes anymore. Yeah, they can. But actually, no, it depends where you're at. I think, like, if you steal less than $1,000, they aren't allowed to catch and detain you. But I wouldn't risk it. Like, being a tourist and going into another place to commit crimes is probably the dumbest thing that ever imaginable. Especially if you don't speak the language of that country. Holy shit. Like, there was this guy which went to Saudi Arabia and started drinking alcohol, and then they caught him. And the man even had diabetes, right? So now he needs to take 100 lashes. And he's an old man with diabetes. And I remember the Western media was freaking out about it, and I'm like, dude, that is like the Darwin Award. Like, why would you go to Saudi Arabia of all places? Where you know that they're very strict with alcohol and stuff. And he was there for 10 years. It's not like he was just arrived. And started drinking alcohol until the cops caught him. Like, it's just... I don't understand some people. Can someone tell Flamenco to be a proper Metacore successor and start GG 2.0 over the Kettle? Isn't he actually doing that, though? Like, I know Arch is doing it. Like, he released a video about the Kettle. But Flamenco, I don't know. I mean, did he start streaming again? Because I know he took a break. As for Metacore 2.0, I think that's Pipkin Pippa. Man, I wish that Pipkin Pippa would be unleashed. Like, I wish that management would actually allow her to do the streams that she wanted to do. I mean, already Tenma managed to get herself banned from Twitter. She didn't get banned, she got suspended. Got suspended from Twitter. She tweeted, all these anti-fan C words deserve the rope. And apparently management boycott. Her tweet was removed. And let me see if I can... Oh, speaking of Flamenco, this is what he is doing. Apparently this is real, or so do people claim. Well, lads, I'm going on an adventure to see if this is real. So, Flamenco is going to fact check that. Which, let's be honest, that is a possibility that it can be real, because anyone can buy a billboard. Although, I'm curious if it's not a little bit expensive. But anyway, right, I was going to show you about Tenma. So you guys can see the company that Pippa keeps. Let me just find the post where she... Ah, here we go. I think this is the one. So, yeah, she basically said that all the anti-fan C words deserve the rope. And this is what got her banned on Twitter. And as you can see, we have determined that you have violated the Twitter rules. So we temporarily limited some of your account features. While in this state, you can still browse, but you can't tweet or retweet. I can't play the music. But I love this. Like, look at That was straight Jim Fallon, yeah. And it's funny because she got in trouble with management as well. Yeah, Tenma is actually very wholesome. A lot of people probably don't watch her. I noticed there's not that much overlap between her audience and Pippa's. Like, they have separate audiences, but she's really big. And what I like about her is that in the beginning, people asked, why isn't she in the Japanese branch? Because she's Japanese, right? Like, it would be easier for her to be in the Japanese branch. But she's like, no, because... And she had, like, a really thick accent in the beginning. Like, she had difficulty speaking English. And that's what she said. It's like, I want to learn English. And in order to learn English, I have to speak English. So that's why she wanted to be in the English branch. And right now, like, she speaks perfect English. She speaks better than me. And, you know, it's a very wholesome thing. Because it shows that if you put your mind to something and you do something that's really difficult, eventually you can improve. I mean, imagine just how daunting it is to stream in a language that you don't know. Or at least you're not a master of, right? She didn't take the easy way. So she's definitely very... Translating is her old job. Yeah, but like, it's one thing to translate, it's another thing to talk, right? So I am definitely impressed by what she did. Face Connect should rebrand themselves to Based Connect. You say that, but like, Fishman is freaking out. Like, dude, if you know the things behind the scenes, like, he tries to keep his company say so. Like, imagine the boss, right? Like, he tries to keep the company say so. And then you have, like, the talent, like, the main talent, like Pippa and Tenma, doing this level of shit. It's just like... do we still have, like, the removed tweets? Ah, here we go, here we go. This tweet has violated Twitter's rules. This tweet has violated Twitter rules. I will go finish my completion save in Hogwarts Legacy now. Tenma is a pro at gaslighting. Tenma for the win. Now Pippa's turn. Well, she did tag her in. I think Pippa has said, while she does get frustrated sometimes with management, she's also grateful for them to keeping her. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, but like, I shouldn't say anything, so I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, you're right. No, she is grateful for them. And by the way, like, they did save her ass a lot of times, because had she gone into, you know, the whole internet blood sports things and got involved with that crowd, I think she may have lost her channel. Like, there were legit, like, some people that would just go around and flag anything that she said that's offensive, go after every joke that she said that's off the cuff, and she would have gotten in trouble, especially when she was small, right? And her management prevented her from doing that. Like, they railed her back in. And I think, like, that was the smart decision. And, yeah, I can understand why Pippa is thankful. And, of course, you know, like, the fact that they gave her an opportunity, because she tried several times to launch herself, and she even did, like, stop animation and many other projects, and none of them were as successful as when she joined Face Connect. Good thing about Face, they clearly don't care about whether talent wants to play Wizard game or not. I mean, honestly, they care a lot about... So they don't want you to not be say-so, right? They're not as strict as Tsundere used to be. But they definitely do not allow their talent to do anything they want. But they don't consider Hogwarts to be a game that's a problem. And they shouldn't, right? Just because you have, like, a couple of weirdos on Twitter, which aren't that big, like, in numbers. I don't think, like, there's more than 1,000 of them. Like, 1,000 of unhinged people that are going to harass girls for playing Hogwarts. I don't think the number is that big. So, yeah, like, the company should just tell them to fuck off. Like, they literally have no power. Right? The only people that got harassed by them are the people who allowed them to have power. I seen, like, I seen Pippa earlier today. Like, there was this unhinged person. It's like, you're genociding trans people, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what Pippa did? She blocked that person. Didn't argue, didn't talk about it, didn't try to justify it, didn't try to explain it. She just blocked. That's a perfect response. Pippa would have went nuclear on Benhara if she didn't cancel that stream. Block button is criminally underused. Yes, it is. They have no more power if you block them. Like, when you look, the whole thing is when someone comes at you and they're like, "Oh my God, you're murdering people because you're playing a video game." That person is not interested in a conversation. Like, that person doesn't want to have an honest debate about Hogwarts Legacy. There is no reason why you need to communicate or engage with that person. The correct thing to do is block. I want you guys to remember what they took from you while we're watching this. Look, this is what they took from us.
Just people don't know how great it is. And I'm doing it for all my boys. It's ugly. You shut the fuck up, Vanessa! You shut the fuck up, Vanessa! I spent fucking $300 on that one. There's no way it's ugly. You shut the fuck up! Just people don't know how great it is. And I'm doing it for all my boys. It's ugly. You shut the fuck up, Vanessa! You shut the fuck up, Vanessa! I spent fucking $300.
We all know what this is really about. None of these boxes will ever contain a boyfriend for you.
Oof.
I'm sorry. Come to say hi to the trippers.
What about you? You guys keep saying I got no bitches. Where are yours? I don't see him.
We all
Imagine going after that girl and harassing her. What type of person does that? What type of person does that? Who goes after that entertainer to harass them? No, seriously, just think a little bit. Who does that? Who fucking does that? American Outlier. Jesus, why am I getting so many super chats today? Greetings, V. As always, keep up the good work. I'm currently working with an artist to create a manga. If you cyberpunk sci-fi action and gushy women in bodysuits, I think you will enjoy it. We'll DM you the first chapter. You can DM me right now and I can show you what I'm doing with my video game. And you can show me what you're doing with your manga. And maybe we can exchange some talent, because I need a colorist. Someone that can color. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But no, seriously, you know, like, it mind fucks me. I can understand, like, dude, there are so many content creators that if they were to get harassed, I wouldn't, you know, obviously I don't stand for that, blah, blah, blah. But, like, if they were to get harassed, I would say, oh, well, I can see why it's happening. Like, I don't support it, but, like, I can see what they did. How the fuck can you harass the kettle? Like, imagine creating such a toxic ideology when harassing the kettle is justified. Why am I getting super chat rather than thank you guys? It's because I don't feel that I deserve it. Like, I don't feel that I put that much effort. I do thank everyone, obviously, and I say thank you guys at the end of every stream. I do appreciate it, but it's just like, it's weird. I'm just talking to a microphone. I don't deserve that much cash. Monsters do it. Man, it's literally like people that do not have anything else in their life, and they only feel good when they take down someone that they perceive is bigger than them. And honestly, like, this time they succeeded. Because Pikame is a legend in the VTube community. Everyone knows who she is. And even if they don't know, like, they've never heard the name, the moment you show them the avatar, they're like, oh yeah, I saw this somewhere. Pikame was the purest among us. She was a gentle soul, with not a bit of hate in her. She was the last person to deserve it. Exactly! The only person that they could have... okay, so there are a couple of people that if they would fuck with, it would have been worse, I think. Gargura. Like, can you imagine? Holy shit. Just imagine if Gargura would graduate over this. Obviously, like, that would never happen because Gargura is a lot more internet savvy, let's put it like that. Like, she would just block these people. But, like, oh my god. The tsunami of shit that would fly over Twitter if Gargura would graduate. Hey V, saw you were sending super chats today. I'm going to use them for my hentai game. I'm just saying right now. Hello, Mate. You've been putting in the effort for years. Well, thank you, Tim. Social media is one big struggle session. It's not even that. And the thing is, right? Like, what makes it even worse is that the kettle didn't even play the fucking game. Like, she just wanted to play it. She was just thinking, oh, maybe I should play it, and then changed her mind. Right? Like, she didn't even play it. I mean, I don't know. Like, dude, if wasn't a hate campaign, I don't know how a hate campaign would look like. Again, like targeting all of the vulnerable girls, right? Like her, Silver Veil. And by the way, like another thing which is interesting, right? So they targeted Silver Veil, and Silver Veil pissed her eyes on stream. Like she literally started crying, right? She started crying. There were media articles in newspapers that I've never heard about attacking her for it and saying it's like, oh well, she deserves it. It's like, can you imagine if they did the same to Anita Sarkeesian or to any other feminist back in the day? It's like they started crying, like, oh good, they deserve it. I mean, these people, man. And from what I understand, Silver Veil also, you know, like she's on the lewd side. Like she's more like a lewd VTuber. But she's also nice. Like she never attacked anyone. She doesn't start drama with people. Like she just does her shit. If they tried to cancel Hachama, there would be fun. Man, if they tried to cancel, what's the name of that? Oh my god. Okay, if they tried to cancel Lisa, probably not as bad, because, like, she doesn't have the social influence for people to know. But imagine if they tried to cancel Watame. Holy shit, like, can you imagine? If they went after Watame? Oh my god, oh Dios mío. Oh Dios mío, like... There are a couple of names out there that they, luckily for them, they missed. Well, Billy, I don't know. Like, if Silver Veil attacked or made drama, please send it to me in some DMs or something. Like, maybe she did and I just don't know, but I looked for it and I couldn't find it. Do not touch the ship. I swear to God, either one. Yeah, imagine if they touch the ship. I don't think a lot of English people know who Suisei is. I think that Watame is famous because she's got like a lot of songs and people can listen to them. I think the only compatible outrage could be caused by Iron Mouse bullying. No, I don't think like people would react the same. Maybe to Shy Lily, but like Shy Lily, due to the fact that she's got like this huge audience. I think she's like, right now she's the #1 female streamer on Twitch. I may be wrong if anything changed, but that's how I remember it. Who's Watame? This is Watame. Naruhodo. Oh, there's one more. Okay, like, there's one more that, they should never mess with. This one. Like, imagine if they mess with this one. Holy shit. How can a person have this much talent? I would never manage to pull that shit off. They do it to Watame the day FIFA graduates due to being on. That is so true. That is so fucking true. The day they do it to Watame is the day Pipa graduates due to being unable to withhold her absolute fury and those responsible. You know, I'll actually post that on Twitter because it's so true. I can just see Pipa losing her shit. Like unforeseen consequences with collateral damage. Jim Sterling fired his video editor because they had the audacity to ask for a raise to pay while Jim was using them as a handyman and driver to wrestling events instead of just underpaid video editor. Don't go between a communist and his body. No fucking way. I'll have to look into that. If it's true, I'll have to make a video. Holy shit. AV, heard it was a free super chat day. Here's my free super chat that I'm pretty sure won't appear on my credit card statement. If you know, God bless. Wholesome Kettle. Well, I'm really curious if she comes back what avatar she's going to choose. There's no way she's going to stay as a Kettle, but it's true. Get the fuck out. I don't believe you. Fubuki was loved by the Chinese audience. Man, everyone loves Fubuki and her noises. Yeah, Fubuki would make serious waves. Pikame already made serious waves, but I just like went through a list of people that would have made a tsunami. I think Jim Sterling was only paying the man about $1,400 a month. I mean, for a video editor, $1,400 a month is fair, but like if you're asking him to be your handyman, to drive you places, yeah, I would ask for a raise. You thought that Jim is a progressive and not an oppressive? Wait, isn't Jim transgender now? Like, shouldn't I call him differently? Like, what is it, like Jimina or Jane or... Like, what name did she chose? Sorry, my bad. Her avatar was an alien Godzilla. Yeah. I know. First editor to move states? Jesus. For $1,400, I would not do that. I would not move states for $1,400. If I was in Romania, sure. But like in America, I know how much rent costs. Right? Like, I'm not saying $1,400 isn't a lot. It's a lot for me. But if you're in America and you gotta pay rent and you gotta pay all of the other utilities, no fucking way. Yeah, that is below minimum wage. But again, like, for being a video editor, that's like a part-time job. Like, you don't have that much to do. Like, $1,400 per month for a video editor is fine. Because it's assumed, like, look, you're making $1,400 from one person, right? And you're editing 2 other channels. So it's like $1,400 times 3. That's a decent wage. But if you're asking extra, like you're asking to for the man to move states, if you're asking the man to be your handyman or whatever, then yeah, like definitely you should ask for a raise. Oh, it's James Stephanie. I see. It's Stephanie. Okay. Had to live in Jim's house? Dude, isn't Jim married? Like, that would be weird. What, is like a Spanish soap opera where you're living with the staff? I know, I used to see telenovelas from Spain where they would do that. So the person would live in with the staff. I think like in big manors that happens, right? Like the butler lives with Batman, with Bruce Wayne. The money that I heard Jim is making while having an editor being paid $1,400 a month is $56,000 a month. Holy shit. The thing is, like, it doesn't matter if you make $56,000 a month. You know, like, you're going to pay the editor market prices. Sure, if you want to be nice, you can pay them a little bit more, but, like, at the end of the day, you do pay people market prices. But for video editing, $1,400 is enough per month. However, anything extra costs extra. I mean, $1,400 a month for an editor is already a lot. Like take into account I know editors that work with big YouTubers, they usually ask like $20 for video. So $20 for video times 30 days, it's not a lot of money. Like, he was being paid over market prices. Yeah, in Romania, net average wage is $600, but take into account that rent is a lot cheaper here. Yeah, I should have paid market prices for the additional tasks. I mean, being a handyman is very expensive. Anyway, tomorrow I will be on the Archcast. And I will be co-hosting with Arch. It's probably going to be a weekly thing from now on. And I'll still live stream on my channel before that, but I will see you guys there. So, thank you for the super chats. And the person making the manga, don't forget to DM me. And I'll see you in the comments.